Hi everyone, hi, this is Ruhi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have created this Hello Eye makeup look. I learned this look a long time back from LSG Makeup. She has a page on Instagram. You can go check it out. She is a brilliant person. So I learned this look from her a long time back, and I did not recreate this. I tried recreating once and it was a blunder, let me tell you guys. So I thought, why not try creating it again. I don't know how much I could justify the look that she had created and she had taught, but I just give it a try. But you know, every day, every step you take towards creating a new look, you keep learning about new things. That's what happens with me. My first looks would have been a great big time disaster, but gradually I keep learning, and I keep telling you guys whatever I learned from my mistakes, and I learned from a lot of the bigger makeup artists, the A's and new A's. So I'm sure you must be very excited to know the tutorial, to see the tutorial of this look. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first we are going to be starting by applying concealer on my eyelids as my eyeshadow base. So for that I'm going to be using Sugar Magic Wand Waterproof Concealer in the shade CHOCOCCINO. And this time I'm not using a blender to blend the concealer on my eyelids. I'm going to be using a buffing, a dense kind of brush by PAC Cosmetics. Let's see how it goes. Now to set the concealer that I have applied on my eyelids, I'm going to be using a loose powder. You can use any loose powder whatever you have, and I'm using the same dense brush by PAC Cosmetics again to pack some powder on my eyelids. So this loose powder is by Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. So you can use any loose powder of your choice. I have applied tapes off camera because my eyes are quite small for eye makeup to look prominent. So I like using tapes around my eyes so the eye makeup would get a proper space to pop up. Now I'm going to be using James Charles Morphe palette today to create the look that I want to. And let's start with the shade No Beans and Benny. And we'll pack the shade on my crease. This is again a dense but small brush, again by PAC Cosmetics. I'm going to be packing the shade on my crease. It's okay if it's not even, if it does not look even right now. Now I'm going to take the same brush. I'm going to remove the excess color on my hands, and I'll just slowly, very slowly, I'll just blend the edges of the shade that I've just applied, and I'm going to be very slow at that, very slowly. Now I'm going to be using the shade Code James and 10% off from the same palette with a pencil brush. This is by Pro Art. It's a beautiful pencil brush. I love this brush. This brush has to be used in every makeup look I create. It's just, I don't know, blends everything so seamlessly. I absolutely love this brush. So I'm going to be taking the two shades and I'm going to blend the edges of the shade that we have applied on the crease. Mind it, we are not going really above, just a little bit, just blending the edges with these two colors. Now I'm going to be using the shade 518 from the palette, using a dense but fluffy and smaller brush. This is by MASCARA. This is the number of the brush is E008. So if you're a beginner, I can assure you, I would highly recommend you to get MASCARA brushes to start off with, because they are really good brushes. So I'm going to be taking this orangey kind of shade to blend the previous shade that we just applied. And remember, we are not supposed to go very high. Start blending the edges and develop the color gradually. You're not supposed to run along in one take. We'll go very slowly and very gradually. I'm going to be using BEE shade, which is a yellow shade from the palette, and I'm going to be using the same brush by MASCARA E008 to blend out the edges for a bit of yellow pop up on my eyes. Now we are going to go back again with the first shade that I had applied on my crease to darken it a little bit more. Now I'm going to take a Q-tip and micellar water. This is by Garnier. We all know this micellar water. I'm going to be wiping off my crease part where I want to cut my crease, and a little above my crease maybe. So just to eliminate the excess of eyeshadow that we have on our eyelids, so that it doesn't cake up and mess up. It's a good option to actually remove your makeup from that part when you're cutting your crease, and then cut your crease. Now I'm going to be using the same concealer that I had used as my eyeshadow base by Sugar, and I'm going to take a small flat brush by PAC Cosmetics. This brush is very small. When I cut my crease, I really like to use a very small brush because my eyes are kind of small and I have got two folds in my eyes, and it becomes very difficult for me when I use a bigger brush. So it totally depends on your preference, whatever you want. So I've taken a little bit of concealer on my hands and I'm going to pat it very slowly on the line. Now that we have cut the crease, I'm gonna set the concealer with the same brush that I used initially to blend the concealer on my eyelids and set the concealer. This is the same fluffy dense blending brush by PAC Cosmetics. Just make sure you don't take excess of powder to set it, because you might mess up your eyelids, the color that you have used on your eyes. I'm going to be darkening the inner and outer corner of my eyes with the same No Beans and Benny shade that I used to apply on my crease. So just a tiny bit. Now I'm going to be using the shade Hello and Playground from the same palette using MASCARA E008 brush, and I'm going to be blending the brown shade that I have used on my inner and outer corner. Just make sure we are not just remember, we are not covering the entire eyelid, we are just trying to blend the edges. We are going to mix the shimmer and matte shade, so we are just going to make it not shimmery and not matte. Now I'm going to be using a flat brush by Pack Cosmetics, and this is how the brush looks like. I'm gonna take the shade Hello, it's the shimmer shade that we just mixed for the outer edges, and I'm gonna be applying on the eyelids. It's basically, you would actually need a setting spray to take the shimmer shade to apply it on your eyelid, so it's not basically taking. So I'm going to be using my fingers and I'll just blend the edges of the crease with the brush, because it actually gets messed up when you try applying shimmer on your cut crease, and because it's your fingers, right, it's not something that is very sharp and it's gonna mess the makeup. Now I'm going to be applying glitters in the part where I applied shimmer. You can see that this is not even prominently visible until now, but once we apply glitters, you're going to see how it's going to change. So for glitter primer, I'm going to be using Pack Sparkly Distraction Glitter Primer. I've been using this glitter primer in all my videos. I absolutely love this one. There is another glitter primer by NYX that is also a good one. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of glitter primer and this flat brush which we use to apply the shimmer shade. So I'm going to be taking a little bit and gliding it on the center. I'll be using the same brush to apply glitters. The glitters I'm going to be using is by Bay Beauty. Now for my eyeliner application, I'm going to be using Maybelline gel liner. Gel liners work best when you want to blend your liner, or I don't know, it stays much longer and I prefer gel liner most of the time. So I'm going to be using it on my lash line. Now before the liner gets set, I'm gonna be blending the edges of the liner. Now I'm gonna be removing my tapes, and we are gonna remove the excess makeup from the face using a wet wipe. You can use a micellar water and a cotton pad. It depends on your preference again. I like using a wet wipe and sometimes micellar water. So I have it now, so we will use it. Now I'm going to be using moisturizer on my face. So for moisturizer, I'm going to be using INNISFREE JEJU ORCHID Enriched Cream. You guys would have seen me using this moisturizer in every video of mine because I totally love the way this moisturizer performs on my skin. It just glides like butter, and if you're a dry skin person, this is highly recommended. Though I'm not a dry skin person, still I use this, but maybe once this gets over, I'm going to be switching to some other moisturizer. Looking to try Huda Beauty Wistful Moisturizer. If you guys have tried, please let me know in the comment section below how was it, if you liked it or not. For primer, I'm going to be using Sugar, the most ELIGIBLUR smoothing primer. I love this primer. I have reviewed this primer on my channel. If you haven't checked it, please go check it out. Now I'm going to be using corrector for my under eyes and a little bit of pigmentation that I have around my lips and on my under eyes, and a little bit around my nose. So every Asian would have a little bit of pigmentation on their face, mostly 99% if you ask me. So I'm gonna be blending this with my Plumco Microfiber Beauty Blender. I totally love this beauty blender because it does not absorb any product whatsoever. Now I'm going to be using a camouflager to camouflage the corrector that I have just applied, which means you would have to conceal the corrector that you have applied with a concealer of your skin color. So we won't apply a lot of it, but just kind of, covering it up. Now I'm going to be using MAC Studio Fix foundation. I'm in the shade NC40. You guys would have known by now that MAC foundation has to be hands down one of the best foundations available in the market. It's medium to full coverage and it's a great foundation. Now I'm going to be using Sugar Magic Wand Waterproof Concealer, the concealer that I use for my eyeshadow base, as cream highlighting. So this concealer by Sugar Cosmetics was completely, you know, very thick and it dries down very soon. If you have used Tarte concealers, then you could relate to this, that this dries up so quickly and it's very thick in consistency, but once it's set, it's set. So you have to blend the concealer really quick if you want to use it as cream highlighting. So you have to be really fast blending it. Now I'm going to be cream contouring my face. I love to cream contour my face. So I'm going to be using LA Gold Pro Conceal Concealer in the shade Truffle, and we won't be loading this one. I'll just apply as dots. So wherever I want my face to look contoured. So blending my contour, I am gonna be using the contour brush by MASCARA in the number F003. Now I'm gonna set my face with MAC Studio Fix Compact Powder in the shade NC40. Again, I have reviewed this in my channel in detail. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. And I'm gonna take this brush by MASCARA in the number F004 to, you know, pat it on my under eyes. And for the entire face, I'm going to take this big fluffy powder brush by MASCARA in the number F001. Now I'm going to be using this white kajal for my lower lash line. I have used this white kajal a lot of times in my video. This is by VOSTE in the shade Snowbell. I absolutely love this kajal. Now I'm going to be using the shades Snow Beans and Benny with the same brush that I used for my crease. I am going to pat it on my lower lash line. Now I'm going to be using the shade Code James with a pencil brush by Pro Art, and I'm going to be blending the previous shade that I applied. Now I'm going to be using a little bit of mascara for my lashes. So for that I'm going to be using Huda Beauty Legit Lashes Mascara. Again, if you want a detailed review on this mascara, it's already up on my channel. You can go check it out. I'm going to be taking the volume side first, the way it should be taken, little bit. Wipe off the excess. Now I'm going to be doing my brows with Sugar Archival 3-in-1 Brow Shaper in the shade Cherry Brown. Now I'm going to be contouring my face using Sugar Contour De-Force Mini Bronzer in the shade Taupe, and this is a single contour pan, and I'm going to be using the same contouring brush by MASCARA F003 to contour. Now for blush, I'm gonna be using Contour D4's Mini Blush by Sugar Cosmetics again in the shade Salmon Superstar. And for blush application, I'm gonna be using the blush brush by PAC Cosmetics again. Now for highlighter, I'm going to be using Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Molten Gold. And the brush I'm going to be using to apply highlighter is by Lakara. It's a fan brush and it's in the number F005. Now last and my most favorite part, I'm gonna be using two lip colors today for my lipstick. One would be, this is K Beauty lip crayon in the shade Chartbuster, I guess. I really don't feel like topping it up with another lipstick. This color is that beautiful. But we're going to be using Smashbox lipstick in the shade Stepping Out on top of this. Now as we have created a really glam kind of look, so I'm gonna be using very glam kind of dramatic lashes that I have. It's by PAC Cosmetics and this is in the number PAC M76. This is the lashes. I'm gonna apply lashes off camera and I'm gonna be back in a moment.